Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is June 2nd, and we're on page 8 in your magazine. And if you have any little boys in your household, they may be interested in today's first article.
Yeah, 如果你们家里面有小男孩的话，对今天这个课会很有兴趣。Yeah.
All right. And if you are not a little boy, you may be interested too, especially if you are interested in dinosaurs, because today it's all about dinosaurs.
Yeah, 那当然，如果你不是小孩，但是你对恐龙有兴趣的话，那今天这篇文章你应该也觉得会很有兴趣，因为恐龙就是我们今天这个第一个新闻的主要要讲的主题。
Our title is Discovered Titanosaur Might be World's Largest Animal.
我们的中文标题是阿根廷出土之泰坦巨龙化石或为地表最大动物。
Now, that's a mouthful. Let's look at the first difficult word. There are going to be a bunch of hard words, as always happens when you read anything about dinosaurs. There's all kinds of different sauruses, this saurus and that saurus. We're going to run into a number of those. The first one we've encountered is Titanosaur. Titanosaur. So get used to that one. There will be more. Again, discovered Titanosaur might be world's largest animal.
好，那这个 Titanosaur 就是泰坦巨龙啊。那 discovered 它是过去分词，表示它是被发现的哈，所以被发现就是出土的这一只巨龙可能是世界最大的动物。
Now, this may seem like a silly question, but my students often have problems with ing and ed endings when they are used as modifiers. So, what is the difference between discovered Titanosaur and discovering Titanosaur?
啊，那 ed 通常有被动的感觉，而且通常是已经发生的。那 ing 呢是主动的感觉，而且呢常常是正在发生当中。
Right. So in theory, it sounds easy, but my students mess it up a lot. And then they ask me what the difference is. So we don't have time to talk more about it right now, but please spend some time paying attention to ed and ing endings when they are modifiers. Pay attention to the difference because that's something really important in English.Yeah,
所以讲这个地方它是被发现的啊，它已经发现了，所以它是 discovered 的啊。那如果说你写 discovering 的话，那就表示现在就这件事情，你 discovering Titanosaur
这个动作，
这个动作变成这个事情还在发生，而且你主动去发现，所以那意思完全就跑掉了。
For example, discovering Titanosaurs is exciting.Yeah,
那这样的话就是发现这种巨龙的这件事情是一个很有趣的事情啊，所以意思完全不一样。
Okay, here's our article title again. Discovered Titanosaur might be world's largest animal. In January 2021, it was announced that paleontologists at a dig site in Argentina had uncovered the fossils of a 98-million-year-old Titanosaur, and experts believe the dinosaur may be the largest creature to have ever existed on Earth.The Titanosaur species are categorized as sauropods, which were large quadruped herbivores with long necks and long tails. At the time of the report, the team excavating the fossil in northwest Patagonia had only uncovered 24 vertebrae from the tail and some of the animal's pelvic and pectoral girdle. Based on the visible skeletal remains, the researchers estimate that this particular dinosaur was around 122 feet long and weighed about 90,000 kilograms. Other similarly large sauropods have been found in the region, including the Patagotitan and the Argentinosaurus. That is such a mouthful. Let's go back to the beginning, take it bit by bit. So if you're interested in dinosaurs, hang on, we'll work through it slowly.Our title, Discovered Titanosaur. This is this new kind of dinosaur that has been discovered. So, a Titanosaur which has been discovered might be the world's largest animal that has ever existed on Earth. That's what the title means. And it's kind of repeated in the first line. So, in January 2021, it was announced that paleontologists at a dig site in Argentina had uncovered the fossils of a 98-million-year-old Titanosaur, and experts believe the dinosaur may be the largest creature to have ever existed on Earth. Now, this is a typical lead sentence in a news story. What they try to do is put as much information in there as possible, so you have a good idea of what this article is about. Based on that first sentence, if you find the topic is interesting, you can keep on reading. If you don't find it's interesting, at least you know the main idea. And if you decide to stay with the article, you're going to have to spend some time in this sentence because it has a lot of information in it.
好，所以呢，这个第一句是很多新闻很典型的一个开头，它在第一句里面放了很多的资讯进去，让你知道这个新闻是关于什么的。那你看了之后，你就可以决定我要不要继续看。好，那如果说你对这个新闻看得觉得很有兴趣的话，大概也已经知道他这个新闻会谈什么，所以这个句子很重要。那他一开始他先告诉你时间，2021年的1月，it was announced that 就是有这样子的宣布，it 就是指后面他所宣布的事情，就是那个 that 子句那就 that 子句这件事情 was announced 被宣布了。那什么事情呢？他宣布什么呢？他宣布说这个 paleontologist 这个是古生物学家那这个是复数就是 paleontologists 那在哪里的古生物学家呢 ？At a dig site 就是一个挖掘的地点，叫做 dig site.
That's right. Dig is used as a noun here, so this is a compound. We don't say dig site, we say dig site.
那 dig 就是挖site 就是一个地点。好，所以在阿根廷的一个挖掘处，一个挖掘的地点呢，在那里的古生物学家 had uncovered. 好 ，uncovered 基本上的意思就是把那个 cover 拿掉所以就是本来被盖住了，让它不被盖住。所以在这里你可以把它翻译成出土。
Now, why did they use the past perfect here? They say had uncovered rather than saying have uncovered.
好，那这是因为发现这 uncover 这个动作是在那个 was announced 之前那 was announced 是过去式，在过去的一个时间点。那发现是在这个过去的时间点之前，所以过去的过去你要用过去完成式。那这个很重要，因为这样可以帮助你的读者很容易就搞清楚这之间的顺序是怎么样。
Remember that the past perfect never exists in isolation. If you see a past perfect, hurry up and look for the simple past because something happened in the past. And 在这之前 something else happened. So if you see had something, plus a 过去分词, make sure that you find whatever it was that happened and then this happened before that. Now, I've noticed how they do this in Chinese, in classical Chinese, because I'm reading 聊斋志异 now. Do you know how they do this? They go 先是. Before this had already happened.
Okay.
And I've seen it several times already. So in 古文 they say 先是.
先是这样，然后才什么样。
就是说我现在讲的那个故事是这样子，可是在这之前已经发生过这个东西。So you have the idea in Chinese, but you express it in a different way. Just remember, whenever you find a past perfect, had 加过去分词, look for the past tense. You can arrange everything in the correct time and on a timeline.
Yeah, 那刚刚 Karen 老师讲了一个很重要的概念，各位要记得，过去完成式不会单独存在。它一定是跟另外一个过去式产生的结果那当然如果假设语气呢，过去完成式那是另外一回事所以这一条文法为什么很重要呢？因为其实很多 native speakers 有的时候也没有那么在乎，
讲不出来，
他也讲不出来，也会用错因为我看那写给 native speaker 看的那种英文的文法书或者那种 usage 的书，常常就会提醒说过去完成式一定是比较之后的结果，不会单独存在。
That's right. Most native speakers don't know that consciously. But I also have to mention that we are using the past perfect less and less often now.
Yeah, 不过这个过去完成式在现代英文里面也慢慢越来越少了。Yeah.
Okay.
好，那我们再看这个句子。所以他们发现什么东西呢？ The fossils 就是发现了化石。什么的化石呢？一直这个9800万年或者9800万岁的这个多少 year old 是表示非常老了，这表示它年纪这么老的年纪这么久的年代这么久的一只泰坦巨龙。那 Titan 在希腊神话里面其实就是巨人的意思所以这个很像巨人一样的龙。然后呢，专家认为 experts believe 那这一只恐龙呢 maybe 可能是 the largest creature 最大的一只生物to have ever existed on Earth。 这个用现在完成式表示到目前为止它是 have ever existed 的最大的一只生物。
Please memorize that phrase. It's the largest creature to have ever existed on Earth. To have ever existed on Earth. I'm guessing very few Chinese can actually produce that
Exactly.
phrase.
Yeah, 这个句子 to have existed on Earth 或者 the largest 什么 to have 那个 have 很多人大概都不会用所以你如果学会了会用的话，那你的英文又更上一层楼了。
And don't worry so much about the grammar explanation. Just practice saying it fluently, and then you will use it when you need it.
Yeah. 啊，你就也不用，你如果文法学太复杂的话，你也不用管它，你就把它背起来哈。The largest 的什么什么最高级，然后 to have ever existed on Earth.
Next sentence, the Titanosaur species are categorized as sauropods, which were large quadruped herbivores with long necks and long tails.
好，那这种巨龙呢，这种 species 啊，这种品种呢，它是 are categorized as， 就是它被分类为，好，它被分类为什么呢？分类为啊，这个sauropod 就是蜥脚类动物，好像蜥蜴的脚那样蜥脚类动物哈。那这个 saurus 这个字根呢，就是 lizard， 就是蜥蜴的意思哈，所以蜥 pod 是脚的意思哈，所以它蜥脚类动物。那这个是怎么样？最大的 quadruped 啊 ，quadro 是四啊 ，ped 也是 foot 的意思，所以四足动物啊，四足的。那个 herbivore。herb 就是草，然后呢，那个 vor 是吃，好，所以 herbivores 就是 plant eating， 就是吃草、食草类的动物。然后呢 ，with long necks and long tails， 它的脖子很长，它的尾巴很长。那在这里，各位已经发现到，像这种古生物或者恐龙这种名字呢，看起来很长的，其实多半你可以把它拆开来，它都是字根所组成的。
For example, dinosaur, it means a scary lizard.
Oh, okay.
That's where we get Kong, but you say long instead of 蜥蜴.
Yeah, 那个 saurus, 那就是蜥蜴 lizard 的意思 Yeah.
At the time of the report, the team excavating the fossil in northwest Patagonia had only uncovered 24 vertebrae from the tail and some of the animal's pelvic and pectoral girdle.
好，这里面有一些专有名词哈，不过没有关系，知道了就好哈。那 at the time of the report 就是这个发表这个报告的时候哈，那这个团队呢，他们 excavate 就是挖掘哈 ，ex 是 out， 那个 cav 这洞穴那个 cav 就是 hollow 的意思哈，就空的意思，所以就是 dig out 啊，所以挖掘出来的这个化石在哪里呢？在哪里挖出来的呢？在西北部 northwest， 什么的西北部呢？在这个 Patagonia 这个的西北部啊。那这个 team 他们在报告发表的时候，主动词在这里 had only uncovered， 他们只挖出了24个哈，这个 vertebrae 啊或者 vertebrae 这个是脊椎骨，好，从这个脊椎骨是尾巴的脊椎骨，然后呢也挖出了这一只动物的一些 pelvic 是骨盆的，好，然后呢还有这个 pectoral girdle 这个是肩带或者胸带，好，它是这个脊椎动物前肢跟躯干相连的骨骼，好，所以他们换句话说，他们只挖出了部分的骨骼。
Based on the visible skeletal remains, the researchers estimate that this particular dinosaur was around 122 feet long and weighed about 90,000 kilograms.
好，所以呢，根据这个你 visible 就是可以看到的，我们现在已经看到的这些这个 skeletal 是骨骼的形容词啊 ，remains 就是遗骸，所以根据这些可见的骨骼遗骸，那研究人员估计说，这一只恐龙大概是122英尺长啊，大概差不多37公尺啊，9万公斤重啊，所以非常的大。
Other similarly large sauropods have been found in the region, including the Patagotitan and the Argentinosaurus.
那有其他similarly large 就是类似的很大的这种 sauropods 蜥脚类的动物啊 have been found in the region 已经在这个区域也被发现了。换句话说，这个区域有很多很大的蜥脚类动物，那包括什么呢？包括后面这个地方我们直接讲它中文译名哈，这个巴塔哥巨龙，还有呢阿根廷龙，都是很大的龙。
And that's it for our first article. Next also has to do with animals, but in this case, we're going to try to release some animals from some of their suffering.
那接下来这一篇也是跟动物有关，不过我们是要帮一些动物呢，这个解除或者舒缓他们所受到的苦。
Our title is Scientists Create Milk Product from Yeast.
中文标题是人道取向，科学家研发酵母菌鲜奶。
Okay, pay attention to two things as regards pronunciation. First of all, milk and product are both nouns, so it is a compound. We don't say milk product, we say milk product. Milk product. And the second thing is yeast. Now, many people do not know how to distinguish between yeast and east, 酵母和东南西北的东。Some people have even said that, 你只用上下文来辨别就好了。No. They have different pronunciations. 酵母 is yeast, and 东 is east, east, yeast, east, yeast. That may take some practice, but please pay attention to it. Don't ignore it.
所以注意那个 yeast 那个有一个 year 的声音在那边。好，那如果是东边那个的话呢，就没有 year 的声音，就是直接 yeast。好，那这个 title 就是说，这个科学家们他们 create 他们制造出来的milk product 就是乳制品，从哪里制出来呢？从酵母菌制出来的。
And here's our article. On January 6th, researchers at Tel Aviv University reported that they had produced cow's milk in a lab from yeast. The professors behind the project, who have also created a startup company called Imaginary, stated that their goal is to find a way to produce dairy products with fewer damaging effects on the environment than traditional dairy farms. They hope to create milk that has the same nutritional benefits of animal milk, along with a normal smell, taste, and texture. The scientists are working to turn yeast cells that have been encoded with milk DNA into factories that can produce milk proteins. They believe this procedure will allow them to produce milk quickly and economically. This is fascinating. There is now oat milk available, and I tried it once at a coffee shop, and it's very good. It's about the same as milk in texture and taste, but it probably doesn't have the same nutrition because it is a grain rather than milk. Now, this would, in theory, be as nutritious as regular milk or cow's milk.
好，那刚刚这个 Karen 老师提到 oat milk 燕麦奶。好，那刚刚他提到说喝下去呢，那个 texture 跟那个 taste 跟牛奶很接近那个 texture 就是质感或者是讲食物的话，它是指口感口感就是用 texture 这个字然后呢 taste 是味道所以它的口感跟味道都跟真的牛奶很像不过燕麦奶它是植物性的奶那现在我们这里看到是他们用酵母菌那如果他们能够这个成功的话，那他们做出来的奶营养价值应该会跟真的牛奶差不多。
Okay, first line. On January 6th, researchers at Tel Aviv University reported that they had produced cow's milk in a lab from yeast. Note again, we have had produced, and it's for the same reason that we talked about in our previous article.
Yeah, 那这个地方我们看到跟上一个新闻一样，他一开始他们 reported that they had produced. 那因为 had 他们生产的时间是先于那个 report， 他们要先有这件事情才能 report 嘛。那 report 是在过去式 reported， 所以呢生产还要变成过去的过去，那就变成 that they had produced. 好 ，Yeah。那这个地方呢，我们看到他说这个1月6日的时候呢，特拉维夫大学的研究人员他们报告说他们已经生产出了这个 cow's milk 牛奶那注意 cow's milk 重音在前面cow's milk， 然后在哪里生产呢 ？In a lab， 在实验室里面，他们已经生产出了牛奶那是从哪里做出来呢 ？From 是来源，是从酵母菌做出了牛奶，在实验室里面已经成功了。
I'm curious, do you think that most Chinese speakers, when you say Tel Aviv, they know what country it's in?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So it's really important to pay attention to the names of major cities of the world because they don't always list the country. You should be able to recognize what country it is just by looking at the city name.
Yeah, 这特拉维夫是以色列的一个应该是首都吧
Right.
Yeah.
Next sentence. The professors behind the project, who have also created a startup company called Imaginary, stated that their goal is to find a way to produce dairy products with fewer damaging effects on the environment than traditional dairy farms.
好，那这位教授这些教授behind the project 就这个研究计划背后的那些教授就是其实就做这个计划的那些教授啦。好，那这些教授呢 who have also created 他们也创立了一个 a startup company 一个新创公司那这个新创公司的名字叫做 Imaginary 我觉得名字蛮好玩的
Yeah.
因为 imagine 它有一个形容词是 imaginary 所以声音很像。那这个地方它把后面呢 nary 变成了 dairy 那 dairy 就是这个乳制品的意思那而且这些教授显然很聪明，因为这个东西如果成功之后，他们如果去申请专利，那一辈子吃不完了。
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
所以呢，这个地方呢，他们立刻成立一个新创公司。然后他们怎么样？他们 stated， 他们说他们的目标是their goal is to， 那各位一样把它学起来。某人的 goal is to do something 所以他们的目标 is to， 他们要干嘛呢？要 find a way to produce， 他们要找一个办法来生产 dairy products 就是乳制品啊，那 with fewer 那这个乳制品是它有比较少的 damaging effects 啊，一些它有比较少的会造成伤害的这些效果哈。damaging 那这个地方是用 ing， 因为它是主动的，它会主动去伤害，这个效果是有伤害性的啊，它不是被伤害的效果，所以不是 ed 啊，是 damaging， 它会去伤害的一些效果啊，造成伤害的效果。对什么造成伤害呢？对 the environment， 对这个环境造成伤害。那 fewer 比较少，跟什么比起来比较少呢？它的这个损害跟什么比较少呢？跟 traditional 传统的 dairy farms 传统的这个乳牛场比起来会少很多的这个损害伤害。
Those actually cause a lot of suffering to the animals because especially after the mother cow calves, they take away the baby and they just extract the milk.
Yeah, 所以这个本来是对动物，尤其是母牛，母牛是生了小牛之后才会有母乳嘛
And they cry and cry and
然后他们把那个小牛把它拿走那这个让母牛继续生产牛奶，那母牛也会哭，因为它会思念它的小牛。Yeah,
It's so sad.Yeah.
Next
sentence, they hope to create milk that has the same nutritional benefits of animal milk, along with a normal smell, taste, and texture.
Yeah, 那他们希望能够做出一种牛奶，这种牛奶是怎么样 ？That 就是指 milk that has the same 有同样的 nutritional benefits， 字面上就是营养的好处，其实就是营养价值有同样营养价值跟 animal milk 比起来同样的营养价值，那 along with 就是同时还带有 together with 一个 normal 正常的 smell 气味 taste 味道还有 texture 口感。
The scientists are working to turn yeast cells that have been encoded with milk DNA into factories that can produce milk proteins. That is really, really geeky and interesting.
非常厉害哈
Yeah,
所以这个地方这个科学家们 are working to 他们努力要干嘛呢？要 turn 要转化，那 turn A into B 就是把 A 变成 B。那 A 是什么东西呢？ A 是的 yeast cells 就是这个酵母菌的细胞。那这个细胞怎么样 ？That have been encoded 它已经有基因编码with milk DNA 它有 milk 的 DNA 的编码的这种酵母菌的细胞，这是 A。把这个东西转成什么呢？转成 into factories that can produce milk proteins。把它转成一个小小的工厂所以你可以想象那个细胞好像一个小工厂一样，这小工厂它可以 produce 可以生产 milk proteins 这个乳蛋白所以这个是他们要做的事情。
They believe this procedure will allow them to produce milk quickly and economically.
好，那他们相信呢，这样的一个制程procedure 这样的一个程序，就是说把这个酵母菌的细胞把它变成一个可以生产乳蛋白的工厂，这样的一个制程呢 will allow them to 可以让他们得以如何呢？得以 produce milk 生产牛奶，而且是 quickly 很快的快速的生产牛奶，而且呢 economically 就是经济的，其实就 effectively 的意思，很有效率的很经济的，成本不高的可以去生产那这个 economically 这个经济的跟我们讲说这个国家的经济那个经济不一样所以要注意一下这个差别在哪里。那很好记啦，这个你要省钱那就是经济的，所以很抠嘛，所以后面有一个 call economically你这样子就不会搞错，所以跟省钱有关系的那是 economical 那如果说是跟国家经济有关那是 economic。Like
an economic system.
那经济体系那个是跟经济有关，那跟抠不抠没有关系。
Or this solution is very economical.
这是一个很有效益、很有经济效益的一个解决办法。这个时候怎么样？因为要省钱那就有抠在那边。
Okay, that's it for today. Make sure you tune in next time. We'll be looking out for you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.